And welcome back to another Bancroft Brothers animation podcast.
Oh yeah, Tom, and it is a
Mhm.
good night, a good time to be doing. Actually, it's morning right
It's not
now.
nighttime at all. I don't
No,
know why you said that.
I don't know why my nocturnal clock is off right now, but I'm feeling fresh because it is morning time, even though it is extremely hot here in Nashville,
That's what they say about you, Tony, that you're nocturnal and feral.
and it's extremely hot.
And it's hot. I know.
No, I'm
I
extremely hot.
I don't
You
know
missed
what.
that.
No, I wasn't listening to you. Sorry.
Okay,
Continue.
so great start. Okay, so we do have a good show here
It's
tonight
gonna
too,
be
because we're
killer.
going to be talking to somebody in just a minute that Tom and I have followed for probably his whole career, if not ours, for a long time, and has really opened up things in the digital arts. And we'll say that for now. But before we get into it, I want to talk about one thing, Tom. We had an extremely fun and successful expo this last year in
I remember
2025. Do you
that.
remember
Yeah,
being
it
there?
was this year. We keep saying it was last year, but
I
it
know.
was this year.
It
It
was
just
this year.
feels like it was last year, but it
Earlier
was
this year in
February.
February. We've moved it. So we've already announced the date of the new one. We're going to do it again. That's been announced.
We have to, Tony. I think they would have put us on stakes if we didn't say at the end of the last one, we're gonna do this
Yes.
again.
We would
And
have been
because
charbroiled
people had such a
publicly.
good time. I felt like they needed it, you know?
I, and as things go, Tom, I agree. I totally agree with that statement because as things go and as they are going, and AI and all that crap that we're dealing with,
Yeah.
the world is a dark place and it seems to be getting darker. We need some light. And that's what community is about. That's what bringing together people that love animation, that love art, the form of storytelling that we do in animation. That's what I love about what we're doing with Animation Y'all. That's what we're talking about. Animation Y'all. It's coming up 2026. In this year, we're doing it in April 10th through the 12th. It's trying to stay away from the cold of February, which is a thing here in Nashville. So it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be on the Lipscomb campus, just like the first year. Come out to Nashville if you've never been. That's going to be a great weekend. Come a little early. Come a little later. Stay a little later. Get to know Nashville a little bit, right?
Nashville's nice. I mean, this has become the vacation destination. It's already the #2 place for bridesmaids to come together and party hard and make mistakes. And
Yeah, they call them the Yeehaw girls, right?
Yeah.
Is it Yeehaw or is it
the woohoo? It's
the woohoo girls.
Woohoo!
That's right. They're crazy and going down Broadway Street.
The bars,
the pedal bars. Where else can you go for cultural awakeness, like the pedal bars of Nashville?
I would say that we don't go downtown very often, Tony. It's clearly not our vibe at all.
No, I'm not a
hear it's a
girl.
good time. Yeah.
I'm a nah guy.
Yeah, I'm a tuck me in at 9:30 guy.
Guy. That's me. Anyway,
Tony, I just want to add this because you said something about the light. It triggered me, and I feel like I just want to say that Animation Y'all is going to be a takedown, and it's going to be golden. I just completed your analogy, the light analogy, with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Is that what that was?
That's what that was. You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I didn't. And the verbology that you used did not remind me.
Those are the songs. I just watched K-pop Demon Hunters again. Mini review, guys.
It's good. It's so good.
I'm still trying to decipher, and Tony, we could get into this, and maybe we should sometime. But
this is not the right podcast.
I'm just trying to decipher the message to it, and I do think I think overall, you just say acceptance is the message. But the Christian side of me, I would love to debate with you sometime on what you felt like. What was the message, and was it a successful message? Because it was I kind of felt like they were trying to put it together as they're making it, and as we know, that's what happens.
Well, they had their own mythology, right? Of that even a demon can redeem itself and all that kind of stuff. That's a bigger discussion, Tom.
I know. Let's not get into that here.
Let me just finish by saying Animation Y'all is coming your way, and tickets by the time this podcast is dropping here in August, their tickets are either available right now online at animationyall.com or will be online this month by the 15th at least. So go check it out. Get your tickets early because we sold out last year. This year.
Yeah, you don't want to wait this time. We had so many people that waited and actually thought they could buy them at the door. And I know most cons you can, and expos. This was our first time doing this. It is a smaller venue too, so like we are going to expand. Want to make that clear. We're going to try.
Yeah, we
and
are.
Double.
We're going to
our
have more
size.
rooms. We're still on the Lipscomb campus, but we will have more rooms and space. And
we're going to try and get some really, kind of high end, recruiters and stuff. That's our big push this year. We'll see if they want some barbecue.
Tom, tonight. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We've got a guy that we've been following for a long time online. He's an innovator. He's an enigma. We're going to get to know him tonight. His name is Kyle Webster, and he is the former Adobe digital brush designer who moved over to Procreate now, and he's working with Procreate, doing brushes for them, the kind of brushes that you love. That's right. They usually go by
that
Kyle
only
brush.
An artist can make.
Only an artist can make, and we're going to learn how this artist got into creating brushes that we love and we use every day in our work. So let's hear it for Kyle Webster.
Hey, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I was laughing. I was in the quote unquote green room and I just kept cracking up.
Hey, don't quote unquote it. That's a real
green room.
That's the real green room.
Weren't you comfortable?
The snacks there. Oh, this amazing snacks.
Yeah,
whatever you brought.
Yeah, I loved that. And that Perrier water, and it was just great.
Right,
thank you for that.
For you. Did
everything. Took a little snooze. No, I was really enjoying that and cracking up because you guys have to know something. I am a twin, but I'm a fraternal twin.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But my brother and I look the same, sound the same. I guess we share enough genetic material that we may as well be identical. And then my dad has an identical twin brother. So I'm really enjoying the twin vibe. Yeah. And I'm so familiar with it, and just the banter and everything is. I feel right at home is all I'm saying.
So you guys are tight, huh?
Oh,
you and your brother?
Oh, yeah.
And is he an artist too? Did he start in illustration?
Oh, man, this is one of those things that's so frustrating. He's so good at drawing, doesn't even have to try, and also doesn't bother. When he picks up a pencil and draws, it's like, it's great. Then he puts it away for a couple of years and doesn't worry about it. It's just not that interesting to him, but he's really good.
If you're good, see, I don't understand that. If I'm good at anything, I'm obsessed with it. And that's the only way I got to be good at it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I do not get it. I do not. It's beyond me.
And for you, it was, let me guess, it was like us. It was a struggle. You had to rope that horse and get it going and worked all your life on it.
Yeah. Still doing that. Still just constantly struggling with fundamental stuff, like, I could improve my values. I could, whatever. It's all the same.
What's values?
Can you, what are values? Yeah. Well, like, what's the right thing to do in this situation? No.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, morals. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So Kyle, I had said when we first, before we came on, in the green room, that I was gonna sum you up in what the Instagrams have told me who Kyle is. Okay. Like when I discovered you, what I feel like your life's, because I did no research, right? And so what you're going to do is now you're going to correct me on that. But I remember discovering Kyle Webster as, and we're going to get into some things that we're going to need to know. You're just going to have to say, look, we can't talk about that, right?
Oh, that's fine.
And it's probably that's the Adobe to the Procreate switch, and I really want to dig into it. So you're going to have to tell us if you don't want to.
This is Tom going off rail, Kyle. Sorry, we didn't talk about this.
No, we didn't.
Oh, that's okay.
That part we didn't talk about. But it's part of your story, so I'm hoping we hear something about it. I remember hearing about Kyle T. Webster as an illustrator.
Yeah,
I don't, and that's one thing I'm going to ask but hold the answer is if you're a graphic designer and an illustrator. I assume you're both, and that you were one of the very first people that was digging into making your own brushes for Photoshop. And you got so good at it and so popular that Photoshop bought you. They went, oh, we got to bring him in. And now I still to this date, and I don't know if it's because it's an older Photoshop, but I think it's the 2025. And that's Adobe that makes Photoshop. Still have Kyle this. All the brushes have your name on it, right? It's Kyle's cartoonist-centric, whatever it is, and which is very cool. And that makes you an enigma, as Tony said. And then I heard, and you seemed happy. You were doing that. You were busting it out. There'd be new brush releases like seasonally and things like that. And I would try some out. And I'm not a big brush guy. I kind of just find my one and I'm done. But I will say that I love them, and all artists do. And before you, Photoshop was almost dead to me. It was a technical kind of a program, and then it became a creative program, honestly, under your guidance,
your brushledge, like, it's like tutelage, but your
and then along came more recently, within the last, I'm going to say year, and I think it might even be less than that. So you went, guys, I'm leaving Photoshop and I'm going to Procreate. And it was right around, and I'm going to throw this in there, right around the time that AI was becoming a big topic, in how Adobe was using it. And a lot of people were saying in incorrect ways. And then Procreate came out and said, oh no, we're not those people. We're not doing it like that. We're not going to take your images. You don't have to sign anything.
Right.
We hate AI practically, right? Like they came out and went the opposite direction.
God love them.
It felt like within weeks you said, I'm leaving Adobe. I'm going to Procreate. All right.
So
that's my story.
Tom just spilled. He's looking for a lot of tea here. He just wants a lot of tea here, and I don't even know where you're going to start with this, Kyle. But go ahead, buddy.
I mean, there's so much to talk about. There's so much. Well,
start at the beginning though.
Not much of what you said to me sounded like it was wrong. But if we go back, the brush stuff started where and you asked if I was a designer and an illustrator. Yes. So I was an in-house sort of illustrator at a design shop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where the biggest client we had at the time was Krispy Kreme Donuts, because their headquarters is in Winston-Salem.
Good for you.
Established in 1937, I believe.
Yeah.
And now they're a global brand, et cetera, et cetera. But their headquarters was there, and I was working as a designer there, and we also had, of course, other clients, and there was nobody else on staff when I was working there who really was drawing. One of the partners liked to draw, but wasn't what you would call an illustrator. And I came in with a portfolio that was nothing but illustration when I was just 23 years old, I want to say.
Oh, what school did you go to?
Yeah, I did not go to a art school, if you will. I went to a regular 4-year school called University of North Carolina at Greensboro, in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I just happened to be really lucky when it comes to the professors I had at the time. In the art department, I had about, I want to say, 3 who really just broke me down, built me back up, and taught me everything I needed to know about the basic stuff, all the stuff that, sets you on the right path when it comes to drawing well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I just could not have asked for better teachers. And I think that's all it takes. Even just one, if you can get one person who takes you under their wing, knows what they're talking about. So yeah, I really, really lucked out. They were, I can mention their names, I guess, Mike Gananian, Robert Gerhardt, and John Maggio. They all 3 of them,
wow,
just completely transformed me.
That's an amazing story, just because we're talking about a state school, right?
Yep.
And to have like notable to you at least, I didn't recognize those names, but what I'm saying is, like, they made an impression. They were passionate, obviously, about what they were teaching.
Invested in the students so much, it sounds like. And
you don't find that
so much. No, I mean, I really, Mike especially, Mike Gananian, really, I mean, I'm still in touch with him, friends with him. He actually told me so much about stuff I didn't know with regards to like programs that I could continue to look at that would help me grow even faster. There's a program at Yale University, the Yale Norfolk program, which is a summer 6-week intensive open to students all around the world.
Really?
And they only accept, I think it's like 22 people per year. And he encouraged me to apply for that between junior and senior year, put together a slide portfolio, back in the day, of drawings and paintings. And I got in and I had 6 weeks of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. painting and drawing classes with these incredible working artists up there in Connecticut. And I basically had a year's education in those 6 weeks at that program as well. And that was thanks to Mike knowing about it, encouraging me to do it, et cetera. So And I should throw in one more person, Amy Purcell. She introduced me to Photoshop my very last semester of school. Obviously,
that
was a pivotal.
What year?
98. Yeah.
So that was a pivotal moment, and up until now, you've used traditional medium. And for the young kids out there listening right now, yeah, I'm talking to you, my students from Lipscomb that have never held a paintbrush before or any kind of traditional medium, chalks, graphite, things like that.
Oh, but they use those darn mechanical pencils, I bet.
Tom hates those for drawing.
But anyway, I can't draw with those either.
You were using all those great traditional mediums, and now take us through, because you were one of the innovators with brushes, electronic digital brushes. How did that come about? How did you learn how to build them?
Yeah.
What was the fascination for you?
That all circles back to Krispy Kreme donuts, surprisingly. So the CEO, we were going to design their annual report for 2003. And the CEO was a fan of these folk art paintings he was collecting up in the mountains of North Carolina and decorating his house with them. And he took us to his house and said, I want you to tell the Krispy Kreme story in an art style that looks like these North Carolina folk art paintings.
Ooh, what a fun challenge.
Best boss
Very cool.
ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Okay.
We only had 2 weeks. That was the problem for 7 paintings, which was a bit of a big ask. And as we were driving back to the office, my boss at the time, he said, do you think you can do this? And I said, not in 2 weeks, but what if I did it in Photoshop with custom brushes and we used like a texture with the brush where it looks like it's being painted on wood? I've been playing around with the Photoshop brush settings whenever I have a free moment, and they're just really fun. And that was what happened. I finally had a reason to actually create a brush for a specific purpose. And we went ahead and did the annual report. I made the 7 illustrations and a cover, worked day and night, no sleep. We turned it around, and when it was all said and done, the best thing was that the CEO said, all right, I'd like to buy the cover as an original, buy the original so I can have it framed in my office. And we had to come clean and say, there are no originals. It's all ones and zeros. So
was he disappointed? Was he like, what?
He was surprised, but also didn't care because he just wanted the work to get done.
He just wanted to print too, honestly.
And we got, of course, we made prints. We made prints. But so from that point forward, I just was like addicted to making brushes.
And so what I'm reacting to first in that story, I love that story. And I love that you saw a challenge, creative thinking got you out of, we'll never be able to do this, into total satisfaction by your client. That's the sign of a really great, illustrator for sure, and designer. But the other thing I'm reacting to is that you're that guy. Whenever I get into like brushes, and I remember that when I was playing with digital brushes on Photoshop, I could see that I could go in there and make it more transparent and bigger. I would only make it bigger and smaller, though. I was completely afraid of the settings.
Good technical terminology there.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Bigger and smaller. But any kind of manipulation and changes, which you could do, you could go in and edit all those brushes. And I knew you could do that. But I think I'm like probably 90% of the artists out there that was scared to death about changing anything.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I'm like my mom with her remote control of her TV that she touches the wrong button, it'll never work. I'll never get back.
I lost Netflix. Kids, can you come by and fix it for me?
It's pressing the source button on the remote. All of a sudden it goes to a different source, and now you're in big trouble.
But that's not you.
Right.
No,
that's not you. For some reason you were drawn to, you like the ability to adapt and change things.
Yeah. But I've been, because with time you can reflect on this kind of stuff and say, why wasn't I that guy? And I can easily trace it back to my dad was given an Apple IIe computer for his office at the high school where he was teaching when I was 10 years old. He didn't know how to use it, didn't really care to use it, but he brought it home for my brother and I to try. And it came with a little book that showed how to do some basic programming. And I sat down with it and I started like figuring out how to make it do math problems, like add stuff together, and then eventually do things like very simple games where you say you're heading east, you could go north, south, west. Do you want to fight the dragon? Like little prompt stuff where you could just do yes, no, and then it would spit out an answer. Yeah. And I was just doing that, and I think from that moment on, I had this interesting relationship with art or creativity and technology, or wasn't afraid to try and make, merge the two wherever it made sense. And when I discovered the brush settings, there's a combination of curiosity and like, how does this work? But also necessity, because being that I was working at a design firm where we had a lot of different clients and I was the only guy really drawing there, whenever we had to make a poster or something, and it's always crunch time and there's changes from the client, if I could make brushes that simulated, here's some inks, here's some acrylics, here's some whatever, charcoal, whatever. If I could do that, then we could create these finished works really fast on deadline and make it look like a different artist did it, or use traditional media. So that kind of was how it all came together. So I just kept, diving further and further into it and figuring out how it worked. And after 4 years working there, I had enough brushes that I'd made that I felt confident I could make more. So I went out on my own for my illustration business, and I kept just using that same.
So it must have been a side gig at first. You're creating these brushes. You're
totally
telling people about it. And people probably were excited and, asking for your brushes, or how do I find these brushes? How can I get these? Until you decided to do an online business, right?
Yeah, that took about, so I started my business in 2006, started selling brushes in 2013. So it took a while where I, kept working on that. And I ran my illustration business more like a little mini studio where there were supposedly more artists than just me. I never really fixed or stuck with one style, and the brushes made that easy. And as I was giving them out to friends all the time, eventually one guy, Corey Godby, a fantasy illustrator from South Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
You know Corey?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I just started selling a sketchbook on Gumroad, this new platform.
Gumroad, yes.
Yep. He said, maybe you could sell your brushes there. And we were at Heroes Convention in Charlotte, and I was like, okay, what's that? And I looked it up.
I just want to throw that out.
Such a great convention. It's very artist friendly. Yeah. So I went home, I collected 25 brushes and threw them into a set and put them on Gumroad just to see what would happen. And that was the beginning of this whole thing that I never really planned for, because those got really popular pretty fast. And then I started really paying more attention to it, making more sets, making them better. And it was right about 2.5 years into it where I decided I would try and approach studio managers to see if I could get bulk licenses at like Disney, Pixar, Sony, Weta Digital, Nickelodeon, all these things.
Did that happen?
It did happen. It did. I had to, like we were talking about earlier, you know how it is working in this industry. You got to find side doors everywhere you can. Like, how do I get around this thing that's blocking me from approaching
about who you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go through the doors. Those are like vault doors.
Yeah, there are sentries, and there are like, there are archers, and so like,
that's right.
But I what I did was I started sending free brushes to artists who are already working at these studios. I said, hey, pass them around to your friends. And after a couple months, I'd revisit and be like, hey, is everybody enjoying the brushes? Yeah, we love them. Well, who's your studio manager? And they would just tell me, and then I would email them directly and say, did you know that like the majority of your artists are already using these? Why don't you just get a bulk license? And
did you know that your artists are illegally using my brushes?
I didn't really say it that way, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool if this was legit?
Be paying for that?
Shouldn't this be above board? And then, and they all were like, yeah, sure. And I charged nothing for the license. The point of doing the license was so that I could then go to Adobe and say, hey, look, these are the official brushes being used in these studios. And
was that really the plan all along?
Well, by that point, yes. I had already approached Adobe about 1.5 years, 2 years into making the brushes and said, would you guys be interested in an acquisition? And they just laughed me right out of the room. Like, what? Who are you? Get out of here.
Right. We're Photoshop.
Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think you are? They were nice about it, but also it was like,
but it was clear. Yeah, they weren't.
They had their own brush designers that were basically technicians, probably. But let me take you back too, because I want to respond to my memory of Kyle brush when I first discovered it. And I wonder if I got some free brushes from somebody. I never got them directly from you. I know that, but I probably did get them from somebody at Disney at the time that said, oh, you got to try this out, or you got to, oh, look at this. And I was a late adopter to Photoshop and digital applications, I will admit. But I remember seeing your site. I remember seeing the brush selections and the advertisements, how it was displayed from Kyle Brush was unique. I could tell this is an artist that's making brushes, and you would do a little illustration using your brushes and stuff like that. And there's been many that have copied that now, people that design brushes, and they're artists, which is always the best place to go for brushes. And go to an artist that knows how to technically create a brush, but an artist-driven pursuit for sure in those brushes is what changed the game. So I knew they were credible and interesting and different right when I saw them, because your graphic design quality, your display of, you know, how you were advertising them and stuff jumped out. And that was the first thing. So it's the merging of that I'm interested in. It's the merging of these two worlds, your graphic design work, your illustration work, and your technical interest level. I'll say, I don't know if I'd call you a technical genius. Maybe you are, Kyle.
No,
but you certainly are. I don't think you describe yourself as a programmer, and yet you dug into that. You put both feet into that and said, I need to be as good with understanding how to make these brushes and as I am with how they should be used as an artist too. And to me, that's really fascinating. And that must have been, do you think that's the thing that really made your business take off with the brushes?
Yeah, it's a combination of the level of obsession I had with trying to make something feel right and just hammering on it until I was satisfied. And I had such high standards for these things because I was coming from that traditional media world. And I was like, this just doesn't feel quite as close as it could. Therefore, I must keep tinkering with it until I get it as close as possible. And that happened with anything I was making that was meant to emulate that feeling of working with pencils or with, you know, certain pens and things. And that was actually, I was happy to get the kind of feedback I wanted from artists saying, hey, this feels closest to what I want for the thing. So that was validation that I needed to keep going with that approach. But the other thing you mentioned about how I was demonstrating like how the brushes look or how they feel by using video and by using images, that was all just luck. The very first set I made, I just had a 2-minute video that I put out that had no sound even. And it was just a sped up video of me drawing with the first 20 brushes or so.
Yeah.
Where I didn't even think about that as being new, or I just thought, well, this makes sense. Like, how else was someone going to know what this does? So I'll just draw with it. And
I have to show it visually somehow. And
that's all I did. Yeah. And like looking back, I mean, what a stroke of luck that I did that. And it became sort of this way that people now demonstrate how brushes work. And the same thing with like how I made brush strokes to show off what the brushes look like as a cheat sheet. Like people used to do just this one sort of stroke, but I would like take a whole canvas and like fill it with all kinds of stuff and a little sketch here and there and be like, look at all these things you can do with this one brush. And that stuff made sense to me, but I didn't realize I was kind of creating a sort of formula or a template.
It sure makes sense.
You were one of the very first ones to create the process video. And now we see that all the time on Instagram and stuff, people drawing, we're seeing a recording, or in Procreate, it'll record your strokes, right? And then play it back at a fast pace. You were one of the first ones to do that. And as we all know, if you're an artist and you have friends and you're watching things online, those kind of videos where somebody is just painting a watercolor painting or doing inking or something, they're mesmerizing. And you go,
I love to watch them.
I know. I love them so much. It's my guilty pleasure. Is like my wife will catch me scrolling at night, and she probably thinks I'm looking at pretty girls or something like that. And I'm
You're
like,
looking at
no, check this,
videos.
check this watercolor painting out. Oh my gosh, look at how they put blue in there. I can't believe they just added blue. Oh my gosh. I'm like, she's like, go to
Spanish watercolorists. I mean, if I don't want to go down this road, we'll talk for 2 hours about this, but some of these Spanish watercolorists who work, you know, on plein air, I know you guys have seen these videos and you just go, come on, this is the mastery on display.
I have a Spanish artist watercolor, but it's of Supergirl from the TV show.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, I love it so much. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and with the digital stuff, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. You're already working on a screen. Just record your screen and that's it, you know.
Well, Tom, there's an elephant in the room I want to talk about real quick. I know you got something too. So just real quick. So when you're designing the brushes, that's one thing, but artists always have a concern about pressure sensitivity.
I was
And
just
what
going
is
to go
that?
there. Go
Oh,
for
is that
it.
where you're going next?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm going to take over. Anyway, pressure sensitivity applies to the brush too.
Yep.
So did you have to partner with like say Wacom Cintiq, or how did that, was there a relationship there that also influenced your success with your brushes?
Oh yeah, I mean, let's see. So 2015, I think, is when Wacom reached out to me. I didn't. I mean, it was amazing. What a nice surprise that was. They reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want to send you a Cintiq and a Wacom Pro, so you can test stuff and mention that you work with our devices, et cetera, et cetera." And
Wait, now,
the great thing about it
before that, was it like the little pad down here, the
well,
intro?
funny enough, I had purchased the Cintiq in 2014.
Okay.
And it was
a UX24 probably.
It was 22 HD. I think 2014 is when I bought my first 22 HD.
Okay.
And they sent me a 27 HD when in 2015 or whatever those. I think that was maybe a year after those had come out or thereabouts, something like that. And a Pro. I don't remember what size that was. But long story short, what was cool was testing on these different surfaces. I could then fine tune the pressure to be kind of somewhere in the middle for what I thought felt good. But I always was telling, when you bought my brushes or downloaded the freebies, there's always a little info sheet that said, "Hey, here's how you adjust pressure curves, at the driver level, whatever. Here's some things you can fine tune." So it feels like, because everyone draws with a different hand. Some people have a heavier hand, lighter hand. You got to fine tune that stuff, or what's the point?
I never did. Like I said,
and
I
never went into
the settings. I'm so terrible.
You and
I just trusted you 100%.
You and I at Annecy, we were standing there at the iPad, and I was like, "Here, let's adjust some stuff. Remember, so that we could get it to feel the way you wanted." And like, that's such a huge part of.
Wait, Tony, you had a custom like moment with Kyle where he.
Yes, and
wow.
It was like a game changer. It's like going to an optometrist or something, and you're going, "I'm so used to these and whatever.
I think I see fine.
I think it's fine, right?" And he's going, well, here, let me do this or this. Can you see better now? And all of a sudden, I'm just like, what? The world is clear.
I love to hear that.
That's how it was with Kyle's, that I was so afraid. I've always been, and it's a stupid fear. It's an old man's fear, but a stupid fear of just like, I don't want to mess with it. If I can't get used to just what it is, then
let me introduce the old man theory here. If I move these sliders around, I'll never get it back to what it used to be, the default.
Right.
That works. Right. Okay. I just wanted to see if I could make it a little better, and now I've messed it up. Yeah.
And so here, this is best practices stuff. Anytime you want to adjust a brush, just make a copy of it and then mess with it.
And then mess with that.
Just make a copy and you're safe. There's nothing to worry about.
And I can rename it and get the Kyle out of there and put Tom's.
Sure,
brush.
Whatever you want. Just call it
Tom Select.
Yeah, and that's Paulo Rivera, the Marvel Comics artist, incredible.
Yeah, I know
painter.
him. Yeah,
he does everything. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the reasons I was able to get really deep into the comics community with my brushes, was because he mentioned them by name in one of his Valiant comics, where when talking about his process for drawing the book, he's like, "And I use these brushes," and all of a sudden, like, my sales through the roof from comics people because of Paulo. So Paulo and Matt Wilson, the colorist, and a couple other folks in the comics world really like helped me out with that. So anyway,
well, it wasn't just there. Actually, animation, it was happening. Actually, if you really look at it, and I'm sure you have, it was happening all over. Different industries were discovering this, and so I feel like we're now at Photoshop. Okay, we're now at Adobe. You've made a deal, right? Did they come to you? I think you said at this
kind
point?
of, sort of. It was both of us moving in the same direction. It was the third time's a charm kind of situation. I was able to get brushes acquired for Adobe Photoshop Sketch, which is an iPad app they had for a little while. 7 of my brushes were actually baked into the app. That was step 1 towards having this more official relationship with them.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that is when I hired a business manager, and I already had an agent who was helping me, and we got a lawyer, and the 4 of us put together a real proposal for acquisition.
So what
And
I just heard is you had to spend some money up front
I actually did
to
not.
make this happen.
I did not. Believe it or not. We all agreed that if the sale came through, they would get a percentage.
Wow.
And everybody was cool with that arrangement, which is kind of crazy and amazing that happened, but that's what happened.
Wow.
So, and
awesome.
yeah, because I was amazed that they all agreed to that. But I think it also
so
showed that
it was
they were very
a
confident.
licensing deal is what you
No,
made?
it was a pure, I mean, I offloaded the whole business. It was just me. I never had any employees. I never had any assistants. And guys, I have to say too, it was stressing me out big time at that point running the business, because there were over 1,000 downloads per day on one single piracy website of my mega pack.
Oh,
on 1,000 a day.
So keeping track of who's illegally grabbing
millions of users around the world were just
I do
using
remember
them.
that. It was very easy to, and I heard that's how friends were spreading it around. Oh,
they were even for sale. And I didn't mind so much in like amongst the professional community, because I knew that like that growth was really amazing and people would come back and buy stuff. And but it was more like there were on, I think it's Alibaba, is that the website in China?
Yeah.
My brushes were for sale by dozens of creators without even changing the name. They just took them,
just Kyle,
because it was branded,
and then sold them.
They wanted to use the name.
Yeah, it was crazy. So there was a lot of stuff going on with that, and just so many tech support emails day in and day out that I couldn't keep on top of. And
it sounds like that was one of the big motivators. It was an original plan, it sounds like, but by that point, with the popularity, was that sort of the big motivator? Is like, look, I can't put security into this. I can't watch everybody.
It was that as much as there was also, I saw so many other people starting to build their own businesses that were similar to mine. And I realized that competition wise, at some point there would be this saturation point. And I just was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I was also ready for more security in my life. Like, having a full-time job with a company that size, you're going to get amazing healthcare benefits. And we had 2 kids, and it all just kind of worked out. So it's amazing that the acquisition even happened at all, because I'm one person. I don't know if Adobe has ever had an acquisition of a single person's business. I might be the only one. There's probably somebody who could fact check that, but I think it was kind of an insane.
It won't be us.
We don't fact check here, so you're safe. We're just going to say it as fact.
Yes.
Right.
But the timing also worked, because they wanted to develop this app called Fresco, and I was going to make all the brushes for that, et cetera, and help with the development. So it all just worked out. It was luck and timing, and also I think I had a product.
So okay, now I got to ask this question. Okay, they bring you in, we bought you out, made some money, I hope, off of that, but also now you're an employee, right?
Yeah.
Part of the deal was, and you're going to work for us. Was it a certain amount of time?
No. Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah. There was I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to talk about that, but there was several years I had to remain employed in order for the deal to be 100% like finalized, et cetera. And then after that, I stayed on, continued to work on drawing and painting initiatives, doing a lot of I really enjoyed the live streams. They were so much fun because it gave me a chance to reach these people all over the world and teach the stuff I love. That was a really great opportunity. So it was a kind of a great situation for someone like myself.
Job. Yeah. But here's the other thing. They
Yeah.
kept your name on the brushes. I assume that was because your name had become synonymous with really good brushes.
I made that request in the business deal that my name remained part of the deal.
Good.
Fantastic.
That was important to me. Even though I didn't technically own the business anymore, I just wanted to make sure that the name stayed.
Kyle, I jump past all the other brushes. If it says Kyle, that one I click on, I want to try it out.
That's very flattering.
It's been that way for years.
It's true. Me too. I was going to say it's because I remember when that happened, when Kyle Webster brushes, Kyle brushes joined Photoshop, and I was amazed. I thought, good for Photoshop. I didn't even think. Yeah. To me it was like a no-brainer. Like, why didn't this happen earlier? And I got excited about Photoshop again because
that's awesome to hear. That, thank you so much. And I kind of felt a similar way about it. I thought this is a really like a perfect match. It makes good sense, but I also felt like I still had to really convince him of this, because if you look at Photoshop, right, it's how many people use it? Millions of people. How many of them are drawing every day? it's a tiny sliver if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a massive app. It's used for so many things. So to try and convince the company, hey, look, this is maybe only a few million people, but they really, really care about this, and you're going to keep them interested in your app by giving them a good tools to use that make their jobs easier. So it was a bit of there had to be some convincing there, but
it was
I
one of
think
the
it made
first
sense.
things that, because for those that don't remember this, Photoshop, it's called Photoshop because it was more of a technical application. All had to do with photography. It was all about putting in a photo and brightening it and fine tuning it.
A lot of filters,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Before all that was in your phone, there was only one program available for that, and it was Photoshop. Then artists started saying, hey, I can adapt. I can use this. I can create a canvas. I can even put a texture in the background if I want to. And I could simulate, working with traditional medias. But the brushes sucked. That was always the thing that made it not artist friendly. So when it was announced, and that's why I say finally, because I remember when you did join them, I thought, oh, Kyle Webster, this lucky son of a gun, is the richest man in the world now.
Yeah,
I just assumed that.
No, for sure.
I just assumed that.
Yeah.
And then
all of these situations, I look back and go, what was I thinking? I had no idea what I was doing. I could have asked for so much more, and I didn't. And that's fine. Yeah. Whatever. Hindsight's 2020. But whoops, I made a big mistake. When you're not used to dealing with
blame your lawyer.
Multinational competition. Multinational corporations.
Yeah.
What you think is a lot of money to them is like, whoops, okay, we'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, I did think, Photoshop finally is turning its giant head and going, I acknowledge that artists are using this application.
It was their giant eye of Sauron.
It was. I see you, artists, and I will own you now. And but yeah, it was a good thing. I mean, I felt like finally, Photoshop is acknowledging that it's good for artists, and we use it all the time, and that we're a big, I don't know if we're the biggest part.
It seemed like they were kind of late to the game of realizing
who's
using
I think it was
software.
They were feeling pressure, I guess. Also, obviously, from Procreate, where I now work. I mean, Procreate was killing it already at that point.
So, let's go back to that. So historically, when did Procreate? You're over at Adobe. How long after we're at Adobe before Procreate started up? And
well, actually, I had been. This is funny because right before I joined Adobe, I was already loving Procreate because the Apple Pencil came out. I think 2015. I want to say.
Sure.
And I immediately got an iPad, bought Procreate, and was working on Procreate on the iPad right, as soon as I could. And Procreate already had been out, but there was no Apple Pencil. There were other styluses or styli, I don't know if that's the word, that you could use, but the Apple Pencil really changed it with the tilt sensitivity and the pressure. It's a great pencil.
Yeah.
So I was drawing with that. Yeah, I was already so impressed with what the brushes could do in there because there was this mixing capability that was already pretty cool and
they kind of nailed watercolor brushes pretty early on. That I was.
They had a nice feel with the mixing, and there was just a lot of good stuff. But then I joined Adobe, and with Fresco, it was clear that there was an attempt there to really get the iPad drawing game going, and the smart move they made there was to have vector brushes in addition to the pixel brushes. So that was an interesting approach. They already had two apps at the time, and so there was the drawing raster based and the vector based. But I can say this now because I'm no longer working at Adobe. There were a couple of Adobe projects, illustration projects I had to do for internal purposes where an illustration was required. And I couldn't do them with our own products. So I used Procreate just because it was faster,
sassy,
more efficient. Well, you use what you can to get the job done on time. That's commercial art. And at the time, Procreate had, and still has this ability to make what are called quick shapes, where you can draw a circle, pause for a moment, and it snaps to a perfect circle. You can manipulate it. And one of the projects I needed to draw had a lot of shapes that needed to be pretty precise. And so
it was faster.
That's what I did. Wow. So I was always using it in the background.
That's a gasp moment. I gasped when you said that.
Well, I think it's funny
but
too.
Kyle, I'm sorry, I want to interrupt you just
Yeah.
because we're running a little low on time, and
Oh,
we are
yeah.
at
Let's
that
go.
part where we need the tea. And so
Okay.
You need to spill the tea. Is that what
here's
you're
my
saying?
question, and you can answer this as politically as you want. Okay. Question is, why did Kyle leave Adobe to go to Procreate?
Very simple. It was a combination of a couple of things, but obviously the main thing, which I did not say publicly right out of the gate because I'm not in the business of burning bridges or trying to put anybody down.
Which is cool.
And I will say this before I say anything else. The people with whom I was working at Adobe were all and remain wonderful, lovely, creative, interesting, cool people.
Yeah.
The business side of things, which only a small handful of very powerful people, there are decisions being made at a level in the company that I do not agree with, did not agree with, all surrounding the AI stuff. I saw it stripping people of their jobs. I saw it being a what I consider to be a very dangerous technology in the way that it's being used, a very unfair technology because people are not being compensated, et cetera, et cetera. And I saw this company I was working for kind of jumping on the bandwagon and couldn't continue to be a part of that. So, and again, the people with whom I was working directly just wanted to make cool stuff. They wanted to make drawing apps. They wanted to make stuff. But,
and no judgment on those that stayed when you left.
Not at all.
I
No,
get that 100%.
I don't, because
they're trying to
totally
you need somebody fighting the good fight in there too. So
it's a lot of stuff. But I was very lucky that I felt confident that if I left a company, I could do something on my own again. I could freelance. I could create something, and I was feeling okay about that. And it just so happens that there was this opportunity at this company I already loved, and who had come out very clearly with a statement in opposition to this tech that I was not happy about. And I felt like in terms of our personal brands, if you will, and our feelings about this stuff, we were so perfectly aligned that it was kind of a no-brainer. And I was just really, really, really fortunate that this all happened because, I mean, it could have been a year earlier, a year later. It never would have worked out. I don't know. I was going to leave Adobe no matter what at this point because I couldn't get on board with the AI stuff.
Yeah.
But it really, really, really is an incredible stroke of luck that this all just happened. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Wow. That's clear. Thank you for that. So it was part of the timing that I said I saw, right? Like you were within, they made a statement, Procreate did, against AI, and basically we're not going to do that and that they're doing over there, kind of a thing. Which there
were two statements. There was one made much earlier, which I had seen, and that's what made me think, there's a place where I would love to, really love to be. I even approached them early on and just talked casually about, wow, I admire you guys for doing this. This is a big thing.
And I want to say this real quick, Kyle. Throughout that, your Instagram, which is mostly how I follow you, you were very classy about not putting down Adobe, about how you just said, this is me and this is how I feel about things. But you said very little, I will say. I wouldn't say that you went into a lot of depth, and it was because you're classy and you don't want to burn bridges, like you said. And, and that's cool. I totally respect how you handled that. It was, I think, clear enough. I remember I even sent you a DM and I'm like, oh, there's a story here. I know there is.
I was not making it any kind of secret that I did not like generative AI. I was posting about it a lot, carefully, but I was saying, no, I don't like this. This is bad for artists. And I still feel that way more strongly now than ever. I mean, so.
And I think our followers on this podcast are probably cheering you right now too, for making what was probably a very big life choice for you, for your family.
It was, yeah.
And I think there was a move involved too. Didn't you have to move countries to work with Procreate? Or
well, no, we had just moved. I was only 8 months in here, living here in Germany, and actually, I take it back. I was living here 3 months before I told my wife I'm going to resign. But there were still 5 months after that where I had to carefully.
Was she in the U.S. and you were in Germany?
No, we were all living together here in Germany,
okay,
but we had just moved and I had this new role, and I just said, I can't sleep at night. this isn't a good fit for me. I'm going to do something else. And she was very supportive.
Mm.
But yeah, so then I had to carefully make a graceful exit, make sure that I had done the work I promised I would do for my teams and not leave them,
high and dry. Yeah.
High and dry. And that was important to me. And yeah, it all just worked out. So.
Wow, that is awesome. And so let's go forward. Let's talk about Procreate. I think Tom and I are big fans. Procreate is one of those revolutionary software pieces that has come up and just taken over in such a huge way now. Like, for example, I just got something. Tom and I have done some Loracana cards. If anybody knows what those are, they're those Disney trading cards and
they're so cool.
Gameplay cards. But a lot of artists work on them. They're beautifully designed. And they just recently like, hey, if you're using Procreate, just let us know so we know we can give you the right RGB settings and stuff like that. But my point is that professional artists are using Procreate now in their work. It's at a point now. It used to be just like when I saw students working on it in classes and stuff, I was like, yeah, that's great, but maybe you should move to Photoshop to get some better details or higher resolution. Or
it was usually the resolution that was the issue.
Yeah, but now it's like I think they've overcome that now, and so it's being used across the board as people's go-to. Where it used to be Photoshop, now it's like the go-to for not only quick sketching and on-the-go kind of illustration, but final pieces.
Yes, yeah, it's true. Yeah,
and now I think the next step there, Tony, this is just me, is iPad, is Apple actually helping them out by putting out a bigger iPad.
This is a dream of many artists. This is a dream of so many artists.
Yes. That's the stumbling block, is this tiny little iPad.
Well, they used to have one, didn't when the iPad first come about, wasn't there a really big one?
It was,
and nobody liked it.
I think it was bigger.
I think the biggest, I think the current model, it feels like it's smaller, but it's because the screen goes right out to the edges. They call it 13-inch iPad. But it's really like 12.99 something. Yeah, I think there you go. You got one right there.
Well, for those who are watching this is an older one. So but I think this is about the size that they've been for a long time. So you can see mine go to the edges, and so
I think I have a generation newer than that, Tony, that does go to the edge. But so anyway, they haven't really grown. Is kind of what you're saying, Kyle. They're not.
I think it's about 13 is kind of like the max, but 12.9, whatever it is. And I thought at first, working more on iPad would be because I'm used to drawing with my arm. We're trained traditionally. You're drawing from the shoulder, all that kind of good stuff. And I thought it would be hard, but I just adjust and I got used to it. And it depends on what I'm doing, but I'm perfectly happy to make a finished piece, start to finish on the iPad now.
You're just pinching more. You're like,
there's a lot of pinching and there's a lot of I zoom out, and I also try not to. I do the same thing I would do if I'm drawing on paper, which is I can't zoom in on papers. So as long as I draw at the right scale for what I'm trying to produce and don't put unnecessary detail in by zooming in, which is a terrible habit a lot of newbies have with digital art because they forget to zoom out. What's the print size? I'm good. But you use the word revolutionary, and that's the thing I think a lot of people take for granted now that Procreate even exists. But if you think about what did Procreate introduce, this idea of drawing with one hand, you've got a pencil in one hand, but your fingers are doing all these things, the pinch and zoom, the rotate with the fingers, the double tap to undo, all these things that everybody just takes for granted now. But these were completely new concepts, like how to interact with a piece of art using your hand. It's just kind of amazing that this happened at all, frankly, but we're so used to it now. We're just like, oh yeah, that's fine. But
it's like your hand is a hotkey, right? It's
and the gestures. And when I joined the company, there were all these gestures I didn't know about that I now use all the time.
No, that's the problem. I'm with, and I haven't deeply researched this because I'm sure it's on YouTube. I just don't know all the pinches, right? I don't know all the things to do with my fingers.
Tom, this is where you're gonna be so jealous. Having Kyle as my personal mentor when I was at Annecy.
Wow.
He showed me a bunch of quick little things like how to change a brush instantly, or how to change. I don't know. I can't even remember.
If you long tap on the smudge tool or long tap on the eraser, you immediately are going to be smudging or erasing with the active brush you're currently using.
Right. So you can
That's such
keep
a great
that
trick.
brush,
Wow.
but erase now with that brush.
Exactly.
Do it
And that's
instantly.
one.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I
You know,
used to
long tap
always,
on the color.
yeah.
Yeah, long tap on the little color circle,
Uh-huh.
and it swaps you between your previously used color back and forth, back and forth. If you're using a 2-color thing, 3 fingers swipe down to copy paste and do all those other things. There's just so much in there, and there's lots of videos you can just watch on YouTube that'll explain all the gestures. But the other thing I want to say quickly, because we're talking about brushes, is the brush settings are way more powerful than what I was able to do with Photoshop.
Really?
The Photoshop brush settings have not been changed or updated since like 2012 or something.
Oh my god.
Were you fighting that the whole time you were there?
Of course,
Like,
I was. I mean, I'm fortunate that I've always had a lot of brush ideas, and I was happy to work in that environment. But there were lots of things I wanted to do, and when I came to Procreate, I was like, oh, I can do those things. And if I suggest that we should do more, they just build it. So there's new stuff coming in Procreate 5.4 with the brush settings that was simply just born out of a conversation I had with the chief product officer, Claire, literally just sitting together. And I said, well, could we do this? And she had a working build for me in like 2 hours. She's amazing. The whole team there, everybody, they're very responsive. They're very, it's very cool. So
you were telling me we're gonna have to a Procreate team member on sometime, because it is fascinating to talk about the software and how it's adapted and grown.
Oh, you want to talk about programming and stuff? So
oh yeah, I want to get into the nitty gritty of programming.
Let me know when you do that podcast. I'm gonna get sick, I think.
Yeah, you will be sick. But I do think Procreate is such an artist-friendly application like we've never seen before. I do.
It is laser focused on this one group of people who draw and paint, which is.
I love that. I love that. We've never been super served when it comes to digital art applications like we have been with Procreate, and so I am in awe of them. I'm also in awe.
That's why I'm iPad. Like, how do they make money? I'm always thinking, and
I'm telling you, the number of people who are all of a sudden 11, 12 years old who happen to have an iPad in the house and who love drawing, who download Procreate, is so many people every day. If you think about like how many babies are born every year, how many of them, are growing up in a household
where there's 5 or 6
income, where there's enough, disposable income to maybe have an iPad somewhere. This is not an uncommon thing. And then Procreate is it's in the water. If you say drawing, people, oh, you should just grab Procreate. And so many people just recommend it. Parents tell other parents, oh, what your kid likes to draw, just get Procreate. It's just happening all the time. So I think they're doing fine. And also people, I think, have the impression that they're like an Adobe, like 30,000 employees, but no, they're I think something we're in the vicinity of like 80 to 100 people. And they're in Tasmania, the coolest place. They're just, it's right tucked under Australia. They're part of Australia, but like, it's just so cool.
You just got to watch out for the Tasmanian devil.
You got to watch out for that. Of course.
You got to watch out for those.
Just when you cross the street.
Spinning across the,
I mean,
I love that. I love that
their office space costs
like
them like $20 a month, probably for their
I don't know, but I love that the company started there and they stayed there. I think that's a really admirable thing, because I'm sure they've been, seduced to like come to Silicon Valley, but they're just like, no, we're going to stick it out here. It's really cool.
Well, and then they came out with the animation program, Dreams.
And yes, and the second version of that, there's already a working beta that we had on display at Annecy, which is great. And I'm now I'm actually in the process of. Well, now I'm in the process of making the new set of brushes for the next version of Dreams, and that's really fun. Yeah.
Is that
I've wrapped
2 or 3?
Yeah. Is that
it's supposed to be Dreams 2, which is of course a free update, because everything, whenever you buy a Procreate thing, you get a free update. And it has a lot of features that people have been asking for, rightfully so, like select and transform for drawing and things like that, and a lot of other improvements. So it's that was on display at Annecy.
Man.
So good things coming.
I got so close to asking like an old man question, like, okay, so how do you get the update? How do I update myself?
Oh no, please don't explain.
I'm not gonna ask that.
It just happens. No. It just happens automatically.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to do anything. It just says, do you want to update? Yeah. Then it just happens. Or it just happens automatically if you have automatic updates on.
Did you hear that? That's like I love Apple.
That's like a genie. I think I have a genie now in my iPad.
It's nice.
There's no more money. They don't take money for that. That's what's
no money.
to me.
No money.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
love
I
it.
do want to say this as a commercial, and we're not being paid for this, but you guys, if you don't have Procreate on your iPad, if you're not looking at Dreams, they're so what? It's like $20 or something like
Yeah,
that,
they're
right?
super
I think
cheap.
A
so.
little
I think, yeah, in the
less.
States, I think it's something
I
like
thought it
that.
was $19.99, but it's not
Yeah, I don't know.
inexpensive.
It's one time.
It's software that does so much, and on a desktop would probably be a $500, software purchase. I mean, like Toon Boom Harmony is what, a few thousand or so.
And there's no rendering time with Procreate Dreams.
Right. Like
you have
what?
just so many layers and so many all of these effects and whatever else you're doing. You just
It's like
hit play and it goes.
eternal layers or something like
I
that.
don't know how that works. I don't know any of that stuff, but it's pretty zippy.
That's genius. That is
very
so
cool.
I mean, they came up with a brand new file format. Like who does that? And it was so that they could do all the things they wanted to do. Oh, we just need a new file format. We have
and if you have a Procreate file, you can just drag and drop it into like right across the screen. Just have both apps open and just go bloop, and it just brings all the layers in. It brings all the good stuff in, and you can convert them to tracks. And
what if we had our knowledge of animation, the 12 principles, the things we were taught at Disney?
Yeah, those 6 things.
And we knew all the tech stuff, and we could do it.
You'd be so
fast,
unstoppable.
like the speed that we could gain.
Tom, that's the sadness about life, isn't it?
So
that it takes you to a whole life to become a really good artist and to have that knowledge, and then you're ready to go to sleep.
It's just funny to me that I don't want to say this out loud. It's like we have so many young people that come to us and say, I want to be mentored by you, right? And all that. And we teach. So we're like, okay, that's the answer.
At Lipscomb University.
If you come to Lipscomb University, you might have that opportunity. We don't do private, but that's what they want, right? Honestly, you young people, get behind old people and teach us things too.
It goes both ways.
I mean, I honestly do believe that's, and I must admit, I'm in a little commercial. That's kind of what Pencilish, our studio, is about. We bring kind of old masters, we bring in new people, and we work together on projects. And honestly, it's been the DNA of our company from day one.
That's what all studios should be doing, don't you think? I feel like
now you're getting me on for success.
Yeah, now I'm getting on an angry tangent, Tom. But there's ageism is a very real thing in the animation community.
Yeah,
and it seems like instead of acquiring that knowledge, like Kyle, oh my gosh, what he knows about creating brushes and doing art with brushes and textures and pressure points and how to design them is invaluable. Like there's nobody that has his education, his knowledge base, his experience.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't, which is so smart of Procreate, to take him on and go, okay, we're a bunch of youngers here and we're doing some pretty awesome things, but let's also bring in Kyle Webster that knows the most about this.
A master. Yeah.
Why? Yeah. But I don't see that happening so much at Disney and DreamWorks and Sony and those places.
It's a shame.
It is a shame.
I wonder now if like, it's interesting. I don't know of anybody else who has a job where they just make brushes for a company. I think this is a new thing.
Right.
But yeah, I have to say I'm so grateful for Procreate for like seeing the value in bringing me on. And I do feel like I'm bringing something unique to their product. I really hope that people like what I made. But the thing is, this is such a rich ecosystem, this brush world, that whatever I make as a default, great. If people love them, I'm so happy. But then there are all these amazing brush makers out there who are already making brushes. And if you're like, I can't wait, I want brushes right now. One of my favorite brush makers, Max Ulickney, he makes Max packs. I mean, they're insanely good. And there's so many people out there making great stuff.
Aaron Blaze has made a few. I know
Aaron's made some great brushes. I mean, and yeah, it's like, it's a really cool thing that I'm there and I can do this work and I'm excited about it. But I also think like, part of my job, I hope, is to bring more attention to other brush makers and let people see like why you should appreciate that these tools exist and that they're being created for you. Because a lot of people don't even realize that custom brushes actually are a thing that they could buy and support a small business. Yeah, like people supported me before I had my acquisition happen. It's a part of supporting the community, and it's a win-win. You get amazing tools, you help a small business. What else is there to it? It's great. So it's artists supporting artists.
Well, Tom, I got to brag on Kyle, and we got to let him go pretty soon here. But when I went to Annecy and I saw Procreate there, I immediately wanted to go talk to the Procreate guys. But as I approached, I saw this a sleight of size man that was bald like me, and I was like, I know that guy. And when and it was, I think I talked to somebody else first at the booth, and they were like, we have a rock star with us. That's Kyle Webster over there. And I'm like, what? I freaked out. I was like, Kyle Webster is here? He's here at Annecy and he's here right there? That's him?
But what was my response when they told me you were Tony Bank? Remember, I was like, I was missing out all over
Tom.
you. Yeah.
He went Tom.
Oh, no, it's only Tony.
It's Tony.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I said Tony Tom or Tom.
Yeah. Tomney. But then he took me over and we very excitedly, he was showing me Procreate Dreams, the new version that was out, and he was showing me how to work at Procreate and find some secret hidden things that I, of course, don't know anything about and forgot after I left the booth.
You got a sneak peek at a couple of pencils that aren't out yet, too.
Yes, and I love them.
Oh,
I'm always looking for. This is me as a 2D animator, born and raised. I'm always looking for a good pencil brush, you know. And I'm always looking for the next big thing. And Kyle showed me some pencil brushes that were so impressive, and then he modified them a little bit. Well, try it now. Do this now draw. Okay. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Let me adjust that. I mean, so having that customizer, guy right there, he's my little mentor now. Like I said, Kyle,
it's like in the old days when you go to a shoe shop and you try on shoes, and there'd be a guy that would measure your foot and go, okay, I know, I think you need about this size. And
total customization is
what
like,
you need. You know what? He walked a little bit to the right when you're walking. So let me give you a stabilizer in there. It'll be a little cushion pad in there. Yeah. And now you're like, oh my gosh, I'm walking straight for the first time in my life.
We all need a little Kyle Webster.
I know. I wish I could do this for all the artists. I just wish I could do that for everybody. Because watching someone draw, I can in a couple minutes be like, all right, I know what we got to do.
You can fix them.
100%.
That's what he did. That's what I'm trying to say. He fixed me.
I'm not going to take up more than 30 seconds with this story, but we went to this incredible architecture firm in London. Gosh, shame on me, I'm blanking on the name. They're the biggest in the world, but it doesn't matter. This guy, Narinder, who there's actually a pencil named after him in the original Procreate, Narinder. I was just hanging out with him. He's like, look at this pen I love to draw with in my notebook. I was like, oh, yeah. And I sat down and created a digital version of that pen. He started drawing with it, and then we fine-tuned it so it felt just like the pen he was drawing with in his notebook, and he was so happy. And I said, this is so gratifying for me. He's having a good time. I wish I could do this for every artist. It's like, how do you want to draw? Cool, let me make you a brush for that. But I can't. And
then
so I try and make it for as many people as possible.
Digital brush, and he set up a Gumroad and started selling it.
Well, I mean, this was on his iPad, so he does have it, which is cool. But yeah.
Well, just last thing, we gotta. When I was there at the booth in Annecy with you, you gave me a little bit of trivia I thought was interesting about how you name brushes, and that you had different names for a lot of your pencil brushes. Yes. And the company changed it, but tell everybody that story of why they're named what they are.
Yeah, that's another thing, because most people, I shouldn't say nobody, most people, millions of people who use Procreate don't realize the company's based in Tasmania. The names all have something to do with a Tasmanian theme or an animal or a place or some flora, fauna, whatever it is. And that's why they're named what they are. So a lot of people, they see the name of a Procreate brush, like, that's such a strange name. Why is it called that? And it comes from something having to do with Tasmania. So my own brush names that I created while I was making the brushes they all got changed.
Yours are like simple Mickey Mouse brush.
I don't know. I've had to name thousands of brushes at this point, but it's really cool that they do that. So
that's really cool.
Little trivia for you.
Well, guys, we learned so much today about you, about the world of digital brushes. Honestly, like, we just heard the history of it. I feel like, because you really have made the history of it. Honestly,
I'm part of it. I thank you.
Well, you are part of it, but you're a big part of it.
If you don't research it, like, we won't, we're just going to say you were the beginning of it, I feel like, and that works. Honestly.
Yeah, just like we're the best, the most popular animation podcasts in the
You don't need
history
to
of the world.
research
Yes,
it.
you are.
We're the number one animation
I've heard this.
podcast. Yeah.
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 We've
Right.
spread it.
We're lucky. Our 7 listeners are big talkers. Kyle, this has been great. And yeah, it's funny to fanboy over somebody that creates pencils, but honestly, that's our story. Tony was sincere when he met you at Annecy.
Oh yeah.
I'm very flattered, and also, like I said, Mutual Appreciation Society here. We're all fans of each other and everything everyone else is doing, and it's just so cool. I love this community. It's a positive community.
Yes.
Artists want to create beauty in the world, and so it's just great to be part of this business, and it's lovely.
Do you have a nickname like Mr. Brush Guy? Or
people think they think I'm Kyle Brush.
Yeah.
I had people all over Annecy come up and say, "I know you from somewhere. Are you Kyle Brush?" And I'm like, "Well, my name's not Kyle Brush, but yeah, that's me."
Wow.
So
and I just want to say,
Tony,
we should end with what's our favorite Kyle Brush.
I don't know the names.
Oh, that's impossible.
Well, mine's easy. Mine's easy because I am such an old man. I just go to the same one, and it's the animator's pencil.
Oh, thank you.
I use that all the time. Yeah, I do love that one.
That's the number one on Photoshop. And if I did any kind of real work and actually downloaded other brushes and stuff, and I just got a new computer, so I had to kind of recreate and new Photoshop. So I did download a bunch of.
I'm proud to say that was one of the free brushes. I just gave that one away, and it was also over 1 million downloads by the time I offloaded it to Adobe. That was a popular brush. So yeah.
Yeah,
good.
It's perfect.
I think the name really helps to tell you the truth. It's just like, everybody wants to be an animator. Maybe it'll make me animate better.
Well, and it kind of sums it up. Everybody knows that means, okay, it's going to be kind of soft. It's going to be a little bit, thicker,
flowing.
Yeah. So thank you.
I'm glad you like that one. Thanks.
Yeah. I do whole illustrations with it because I'm just
so
lazy. I'll do the sketch. I'll do the file line work. I'll even paint with it.
Sometimes all you need is one brush. They're pretty versatile. Sometimes they do a lot. Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah. That's the old man way to do Photoshop.
But your art might be better. You might be more successful, Tom, if you tried different brushes.
I recently tried to break out of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Anyway, thank you for being with us today on the Bancroft Brothers Animation Kyle. Let me start.
Kyle cast. I like that.
Anyway, thank you so very much for being on the Bancroft Brothers Animation Podcast. Kyle, you've been awesome to talk to. And Tom, as we always say, animate from the heart.
Be sure to subscribe to the Pencil-ish Studios YouTube channel.